Hello and welcome to the program. Thank you for staying tuned in Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business. Now, as we are gearing up to the Economic Development Forum that is going to be organized by Ministry of Finance in conjunction with Bank of Uganda and the Capital Markets Authority, under the theme Capital Markets offering a complementary platform for funding the government's tenfold growth initiative. We are very delighted tonight to be able to have a conversation with a very special lady. She is a CEO, she's a mother, but she has contributed greatly in the last 1 year to what the Capital Markets Authority has been able to put together, the growth that we've seen in the collective investment schemes, the different organizing events that have been organized, especially the World Investor Week, which we just concluded about a month ago. This is none other than Madame Josephine Osia Okui. You're most welcome, Madame Josephine, to the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm very delighted, honestly, to see you again after the World Investor Week. First of all, congratulations for putting together such a wonderful week. I think it was a success.
Thank you, and thank you for the support that Smart TV provided.
Amazing.
Yes, it was very good.
Amazing.
Yes, but we wouldn't have done it without you.
Surely.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Let's talk about the Wednesday event this time round. We are seeing this for probably the first time, where we are having a discussion concerning how capital markets are going to be able to offer complementary funding for the government's tenfold growth initiative. Why this event, and how relevant is this event to the industry currently?
Well, as you know, the tenfold program is based on the ATMs, which is the agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, and then science and innovation. And for us, we feel as capital markets that there's a lot that we can contribute. Capital markets really is about accessing long-term patient capital that can be used to boost growth and to boost the economy. So in our view as capital markets, we can play a very big role in getting capital for example, the manufacturing sector. Manufacturers can come to the market and for capital, long-term capital, not like the short-term capital that banks tend to provide. This one is more long-term, and it can be in form of equity or it can be in form of debt. So that's one way. Even government can do infrastructure bonds specific. And we have seen that some infrastructures do have cash flows that can sustain like a bond issuance. Let's look at the express highway, how much money is collected. Similarly, government can model that for example, the Ginger Express Highway or the SGR, because those kind of projects have cash flows that can be relied upon, and government can then come to the market, raise the debt, and be able to pay without burdening the budget, government's budget, really. We also think that we can help by educating the public about how they can invest. Government has a project Okusevinga, which is targeted at up to the last mile. People up to the last mile can now participate in buying treasury bills. So just carrying out that public education as capital markets will also help government be able to raise really affordable capital from the individuals, from its citizens, really. So for us, it's about providing the opportunity, encouraging companies to come to the market and to raise. Usually, equity is cheaper than debt, so they can come and participate. And also, being a front runner as a company can give you an advantage. So now we are talking manufacturing, we're talking agriculture, we're talking tourism. Those forerunner companies that come to the market to raise money will be able to raise that money quite easily and at an affordable rate. So that's how we see ourselves being able to really participate and support government in this regard. Also, there are a number of other products which can be listed. Sukuk Islamic products, we have the green bonds, all that are avenues that government can come and raise money without necessarily burdening its budget.
And underlying this theme is the fact that Bank of Uganda is coming on board as well with Ministry of Finance and the CMA. There's the fixed income market.
Yes.
I believe firmly that this market has been growing as well, as much as the equities market as well. However, the penetration, how is the penetration currently? When you look at the fixed income market. You're talking about Oku saving a project. Currently, to be able to invest in a bond or a treasury bill, you need at least 100,000.
Yes.
Are we seeing that we're going to have this more accessible, much cheaper as well in the coming projects as well?
Yes. So in the fixed income market, so what government did, early this year, they formed a fixed income market committee. And the committee was really, and it's chaired by the deputy governor. The committee was really charged with how can we develop or get more activity in the secondary market of fixed income. So the committee has had a number of meetings, but really I think that is a space which has not really been regulated. There is a lot of opaqueness, and there's no transparency, there is very limited price discovery, and those are the things that we are looking at to see how can we create transparency and price discovery within the secondary market for fixed income, so that people can participate, people can know that you can participate in the secondary market. And so we were looking to creating a platform where if you want to see how a particular bond, say a 10-year bond is priced, you can just go there and see the price and then determine whether you want to buy. So we want to create a lot of transparency in that market. And we believe that by creating transparency, it will drive the pricing down in the secondary market. Because right now, the banks who are the primary dealers can sell you at whatever price they choose. And it's for the bigger corporates, they can call the treasurers and try and compare. But for an individual, very unlikely. They probably wouldn't give you the airspace anyway because the ticket sizes would not be that. But we want to encourage more retail people to play in that space, and even institutions, but be comfortable that they are getting a good price. Sure. So those are some of the activities that we are looking at. We're also trying to see what structure can really move the fixed income market to the next level. And that's why now you'll see that the invitation of the FMDQ CEO comes in place, because they did some really amazing things in Nigeria.
Yeah, we talk about FMDQ.
Yes.
Mr. Koko,
yes,
the Chief Executive Officer, 10 years ago started this company, and he faced a lot of criticism. However, when you look at what they have been able to achieve, there's a lot really that we can benchmark on. Why did we choose FMDQ, and what are we hoping to learn from them?
So FMDQ is an over-the-counter, started off as an over-the-counter market, particularly for the fixed income. But they've evolved over time. So for us, we are looking at the strides that FMDQ has done. And they were focused particularly on market development. Yes, that was their key mandate. And as you see right now for Uganda, market development sits with CMA. But you can only develop the market to a certain extent. So for example, Capital Markets Authority Uganda cannot come up with new products, because at a later date we'll have to license those products. So it becomes a conflict. But with the FMDQ model, they formed a separate company with private participation. Sure. So it's private sector led, it's market oriented. And so for them, they develop products. They think of products that they can bring onto the market. Innovatively. Yeah. So there's no constraint that, because they are also regulated. So there's no constraint for them in terms of developing the market. Any ideas, innovation, tech, that's their role, their sole mandate. Yeah. So they started off as an OTC, but they later on got a stock exchange as well. They got a clearing house as well. So they are really vertically integrated. Yeah. Yes. So the model that we are looking at really to begin with is the OTC. And what the OTC did was to open up the market, make it transparent. I think they worked with Bloomberg and had a platform where now you could do price discovery. You just had to get membership into that platform, and you'd be able to see what is the pricing. Yeah. So that's what we want to start with. We want to create transparency first and foremost in the market.
Amazing. Do you look at us also having maybe a public-private partnerships as well with individuals in the market that are willing also to bring on board the innovative ideas and products and bring about product diversification, especially speaking from the fixed income perspective?
One of the challenges we have is product diversification in our market. And therefore, for us, we are looking at a partner who can come and bring products to the market. Yes, and I think that is the key thing.
We need options.
You need options. Yeah. We can't be on just equity. Corporate bonds have been far apart.
Yes.
So we don't even have commercial paper. You see, that kind of thing. So we really need, we don't have really derivatives. So we need someone to come and develop products that are tailored to the Ugandan market, and then encourage our investors to be able to come and participate. And for public-private partnerships, so FMDQ, the central bank was invested in it, but what they did, they then invited the banks and the brokers to come and invest and be partners in it. So the public-private partnership arrangement works very well, because then the entity has the private focus, and so it's driven like a private entity, but then also it gives people confidence because government is invested in it. So that's the beauty with private-public partnerships.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about capital markets in Uganda, there's been a question of awareness.
Yes.
And as CMA, you're mandated to do public education, public awareness, increase awareness. And now we are looking at even advancing our products, looking at product diversification. But at the root of all this is public awareness. What is your effort as CMA to ensure that these markets penetrate deeply in the hearts of Ugandans? Because even today, you find people who have gone to school, they have no idea what a share is, they have no idea what a bond later on is, and then all these other green bonds that we're bringing in. Have there been specific efforts, especially to do extensive public awareness?
Yes, we've recently put together a public education strategy and plan. And really the focus is to get people informed about capital markets, but also about investments. Because at capital markets, we believe that an informed investor is already a protected investor. So that is our focus. And in the plan, we are looking at all the demographics, all the different groups. So we have programs that will cover the students. We have the programs that will cover the, as we call them, Omuntu wa bulijjo. We have programs that will cover the middle class and the corporate people, because you'll be amazed that there are even people in the corporate sector who don't know much about capital markets.
That's right.
And so we have different activities that are targeted at different groups, even the issuers, the manufacturers, those who should be bringing products to the market. So we have a strategy that is going to cover all that. We are even going to the extent of discussing with the National Curriculum Development Secretariat to see how can we introduce elements of capital markets into the curriculum.
Amazing.
Yeah, because we need to start with the youth now, so that later when they grow up, they start to understand, they understand investments already. For us, some of us understood investments when we were over 20 years. So it's important that we start to plant the seed early. So all those aspects we are looking at. But currently we've engaged a number of just MDAs, just going to speak to MDAs and telling them about what we do, and ministries. We've had a number of engagements with a number of organizations who welcome us. So we are looking at a very multi-pronged approach, just to get people to hear and understand capital markets. And even these events that we are doing, it's really to alert people that capital markets, we are here and we can contribute to the development of the economy.
One of the things I saw FMDQ do was how they got these kids 6, 7 years, 10 years, and they got them to embrace the jargon of capital markets. And you could find them freely talking about capital markets, you know, how the markets are, the articulation. How I wish, since when you talked about the national curriculum development, it's something that we can consider as well for our curriculum, so that from school, people know what capital markets are. But then coming back to this event, what are some of your expectations as CMA, and what are some of the achievements you see that we might have after this event, post this event that's going to be organized on Wednesday?
I think one of our key objectives is for, first of all, for the public, but also policymakers to recognize that actually capital markets can contribute to the growth of this economy, just to create that awareness. And then secondly, to get them to start thinking in terms of policy. Yeah? What are some of the policies that we can put in place to help the capital markets develop? And one of them, one of the key drivers of capital markets is pension sector. So for a capital markets to thrive, you need a very robust pension sector. So we need to sit around the table and see how can we improve the pension sector within Uganda, because they are the holders of capital. They're the ones who hold a lot of money. Look at how much money NSSF holds. And
20
if you
trillion,
did,
yeah.
yes, and if you look at all the other smaller pensions as they might be, they still do hold a lot of capital. It's now to see how do we incentivize these holders of capital to come and invest. Yes, and they would be able to invest and provide government with a lot cheaper capital. I know that most of them are just putting their money in treasury bills, treasury bonds, but there are options for alternative investments, like the infrastructure bonds. Government can list infrastructure bonds and this. So it's just to create that awareness, but above all, also to gain support. From policymakers, from politicians, to support the agenda that capital markets is trying to drive.
Have the capital markets stakeholders been supported enough, especially now that Minister of Finance is organizing such an event? Do you feel like we need more, for example, incentives towards the Capital Markets Authority, towards USE, towards the banks that are trying to build this? Do we have enough resources to build a vibrant capital markets?
We do have, I think we do have the potential to build a vibrant capital markets. And these incentives can come in different forms, But I think the approach we would like to take is make the incentives based on the product. Yes. So let's first say, for argument's sake, we have corporate bonds and we have government security, government bonds. But already there's a disparity between the withholding tax that is charged to government securities about over 10 years, vis-a-vis if it's a corporate bond issued by a private company. We want to harmonize that because already it disadvantages. Yes. And then we also have structural things that we need to sit and address. We have some players that are too big to fail. What are we going to do? If that player does not participate in a corporate bond issue or an IPO, that IPO is bound to fail. How do we create other bigger players as well in the market? So those are really some of the tough questions that we need to really discuss and see how do we go around them.
What would you have for businesses? Because we have a business-oriented community in Uganda. So many entrepreneurs are coming up every now and then, but they're looking for capital.
Yes.
They are looking for solutions and they're solving problems, but they don't have access to financing. And when you look at most of the instruments that are offered, sometimes the requirements are so stringent. They are so stringent to be able to get a corporate bond, to be able to maybe list on the Uganda Securities Exchange. It's not a walk through a park, right? What word of advice would you give to such businesses?
Actually, the USE, the Uganda Stock Exchange, has different segments. And what we all know is the main investment segment, which has quite a number of stringent listing rules and requirements. But we also have the growth enterprise market segment, which listing rules are not as stringent. But I think the biggest thing that keeps people away are the governance issues around these companies. Because when you come to the market, your governance is going to be scrutinized, you see? There are going to be requirements, there are going to be reporting requirements. And some of them don't like that. But it's for them to appreciate that it actually improves your organization. Once you put your governance in place, once your financial reporting is transparent, automatically you become attractive to investors. You get de-risked at that point. You become very attractive to investors. So it's just to also educate them and see that there are actually a lot more benefits by coming to the market. Yes. So if, for example, you come for equity, equity is really long term. There's not going to be someone knocking at your door saying that I want my interest paid or whatever. And people buy a good story. They buy a good story, they buy growth. If you can tell a good story, show growth, people will give you money. And they won't be knocking at you all the time looking for dividends. No, they will trust and know that once they have seen that the story is good. And once the story is good and you're transparent, that story will come to pass. You pay those dividends. So it's just for the companies to appreciate that. But we're also looking at different options for them. For example, I talked about we don't have commercial paper. That's an option that could come. They could list commercial paper. Short-term commercial paper. That the requirements are not so stringent. But it's also for us as the market to get people to bring products, to innovate and bring simpler products that adapted to our situation. Yes, it's not everyone cannot list an IPO. Yes, everyone cannot do a corporate bond, but we should be able to have products in there that allow them. Crowdfunding, for example, we are trying to put in place regulations for crowdfunding. Crowdfunding for small ticket items of up to $5,000 US. People should be able to come and do crowdfunding and be able to raise money. So those are all the small things that we are trying to do, and it's for them. The companies to come and express their need, and then we see how do we solve that need. Yeah.
Well, when you talk about that, it really blows my mind, because that's a fact. Most people don't want to look at the facts that you need good governance, good books of accounts to be able to at least entice people into investing in your business. But then also, when you look at the environment, the business environment, some of our businesses have not been able to do all these things because they're not formalized.
Yes.
Is that an aspect as well that has held us back?
Yes, because for you to come to the market, it must be formalized. And I know that URSB has done a number of campaigns of formalize your business, and it's not formalization of the business is not an expensive process. But again, I think it's fear of the unknown. It's just to tell them the benefits of formalizing the business and what opportunities it opens up for you. A lot of it, as you say, there's a lot of work to be done in terms of public education, both for those who are looking for capital and those also who will be providing capital. So it's really, there's a lot of work out there because people don't know. Yeah.
FMDQ has embraced technology.
Yeah.
And in this day and age now, we have artificial intelligence. And I was very excited when we had a presentation on AI at the World Investor Week. It was really exciting. Are we hoping as well to benchmark off of some of these products in terms of the technological advancement to increase access, but also cybersecurity and other controls that can be able to protect the market?
Yes, of course. We can't run away from technology. It's here and it's here to stay. So therefore, for anyone to get efficient, you'll need technology to help you do that. Yes. So first of all, at the capital markets, we are also looking to see how can we, first of all, automate our processes and get efficient, even as the authority. But that said, there's a lot of innovation that is going out there, a lot of fintechs that are trying to develop products. And in a bid to try and encourage that, we are putting in place a regulatory sandbox where now they'll come and test without regulations. We are understanding the product. They are also understanding the product. We are seeing, just to encourage them to innovate.
So the Ugandan FMDQs should embrace the sandbox.
Yes, they should come and whatever product they think about them, let them come and let's test the product and see what are the risks, how do we mitigate those risks before we put it out to the market.
Is it that open, as you say, like anyone can come
with a product?
As they have a product?
Yes, they have a product because we will license you to do the product in the sandbox. And therefore, it gives you opportunity to test what works, what doesn't work, where are the risks, how do we cover those risks. It's just a space to learn. Yes.
You can stretch as far
you can stretch as far as you can, as you're learning, because you're learning, the authority is also learning, because eventually we'll have to regulate and supervise. So it's also good for us to understand what product is coming to the market, and then we can then confidently put it out there for the investors to benefit from. Amazing. So all that is driven really towards encouraging people to innovate. Innovation, there's a lot happening out in the world. We shouldn't be left behind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Finally, about tomorrow's event, what would you have for the people, and who is invited for this particular event, and how can they be able to catch it? So
we invited a spectrum of people. We have the policymakers, we do have general market players, we have the financial institutions, and people from the general public. But of course, there's limitation of space. But there are going to be links that they will be able to join. Anyone can register and join and be part of the event and be able to ask their questions. So the CEO of FMDQ is going to come and tell the Nigeria story, where they started from and where they are right now, and how that has impacted the securities market within Nigeria, and how much funding they've been able to raise and be able to support growth within Nigeria. Wow, thank you so much, Madam Wasia, for your time. Thank you. That's it from us tonight. We'll catch you tomorrow at the event at Serena. We'll be streaming live here at Smart 24 TV.
I've been privileged to talk to the CEO of CMA, Madame Josephine Osia. If you missed any of the content, please go to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to catch it. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye for now. See you later.